In less than 24 hours, I will execute a man in front of the entire city, but that is not why they hate me. The priest doesn't sit with me. The baker won't sell to me. The children cross the street when they see me coming. My house is painted red, not by choice. The law demands it. By noon, every man, woman, and child in this town will stop what they're doing to watch me work. And by sundown, they'll pretend they don't know my name. 5 in the morning, the red house. The candle is still burning when I wake. I don't need a rooster. I wake before the city does, because the city doesn't want to see me walking its streets. The walls of my home are red, painted that way by order of the magistrate, so travelers passing by know whose house this is. Inside, it looks like any other home. A wife, children sleeping, a pot of stew gone cold. But no neighbor came by yesterday. No neighbor will come by today. My daughter is 12. She has never been invited to another child's home. My son is 15. When he marries, it will be to the daughter of another executioner, or a butcher, or a grave digger. They believe impurity is contagious, and impurity is the only name I had to give them. 6 in the morning, the blade. I walk to the back room, the one with no windows. On the table, my sword. I sit. I begin to sharpen it. This is not routine. A dull blade does not kill cleanly. A dull blade requires 2 strikes, sometimes 3. And if I fail today, the crowd that came to see justice becomes a mob that came to see suffering. They scream. They throw stones. They have killed men in my profession before, so I sharpen. In Nuremberg, a man named Franz Schmidt kept a journal of every execution he performed, 361 of them. Next to each name, he wrote one word, clean, or failed. That word was his honor, his safety, his life. Today, I will write only one word, clean. But the scaffold is not the worst part of my day. The worst part is coming home after everyone has watched me do it. 7:30 in the morning, the costume. I dress slowly. Dark red tunic, heavy, tight at the wrists. The color isn't vanity. The color is so the blood doesn't show. Wide leather belt, black gloves. A hood, but only for some executions. Not because I must hide my face, but because the condemned sometimes asks not to see it. I look at myself in the polished metal by the door. Before I step outside, I stop being a man. I become the warning. 9 in the morning, the empty streets. I step outside. The streets aren't empty, but they will be wherever I walk. A merchant sees me 20 paces away and turns down another alley. A woman pulls her child against her skirt as I pass. A man crosses himself. Nobody speaks. Nobody greets me. By daylight, they run from me. By candlelight, they knock on my door. The executioner's hand was believed to heal. The same hand that takes life, they thought it could give it back. A touch on a sick child. A bandage from my fingers on a broken bone. Some carry bits of rope from past executions in their pockets, charms against disease. By daylight, I am cursed. By candlelight, I am medicine. 10 in the morning, the condemned. The prison is at the edge of the square. The guard nods, silent. He opens the door. The condemned man is sitting on straw, wrists bound. He looks up when I enter. He knows who I am. They think I'm a monster, but when I enter that cell, I kneel, and I ask him to forgive me. This is ritual. In medieval Europe, the executioner was required, by custom, sometimes by law, to ask the condemned for forgiveness before the act. And the condemned almost always gave it. Because in the eyes of the church, an executioner who killed without forgiveness carried that soul on his own. So the man on the straw looks at me, the man I will kill in 2 hours, and he says softly, I forgive you. I stand. I leave. I will carry those 3 words for the rest of the day. I have carried hundreds of them across years. Some nights, I can still hear every single one. 11 in the morning, the procession. The bells begin. There is no such thing as a private execution. The condemned is brought out, hands bound, dressed in white, the color of penance. I walk beside him through the streets. The city has gathered, hundreds, sometimes thousands, children on their fathers' shoulders, bakers closing their shops, nobles on horseback. Justice in the Middle Ages had to be seen to be real. A private punishment was no punishment at all. The crowd shouts at the condemned. They throw rotten food. They shout at me too, but not the same way. They shout at me the way a man shouts at the wolf he paid to do a job. The wolf doesn't answer. The wolf walks on. Noon, the scaffold. I climb the wooden steps. The condemned climbs behind me. The crowd goes quiet. If the man is a noble, the sword. Death by sword was reserved for those of higher birth, quick, clean, honorable. If he is a commoner, the rope, slow, public, humiliating. Today, the sword. I position him. I speak quietly. I tell him to keep his neck straight, to breathe out, not in, to not flinch. This isn't cruelty. It's the only gift I can give him. A skilled executioner is mercy in the shape of a man. I step back. I raise the blade. The crowd holds its breath. It is done. The crowd will remember the sound. I will remember the silence before it. I lower the blade, and I write the word in my mind, clean. 1 in the afternoon, the aftermath. The body is mine now. I wrap it. I wash the scaffold. The blood is dark on the wood. A clerk arrives with my payment. The coins are placed on a wooden plate. The plate is placed on the ground, so no clean hand has to touch the hand that killed. The city pays me well, then makes sure I have nowhere to spend it. 3 in the afternoon, the other job. By afternoon, I'm home. A knock at the door. A hooded man has come from inside the city walls. He brings a child. The child has a broken arm. He can't afford a physician. The physicians won't see him. But I understand bones. The executioner in most medieval cities was the only man legally allowed to torture, and you cannot torture a man without keeping him alive. So I learned anatomy. I learned where to cut and where not to. I learned how a body breaks and how it heals. I set the child's arm. The father pays me in bread. He doesn't look me in the eye, but he came to me. In the same week, I might end one life on the scaffold and save another at my kitchen table. 6 in the evening, the inheritance. My son is in the back room sharpening his own blade. This morning I sharpened mine. By evening, my son is learning how to inherit it. He didn't choose this, neither did I. My father was an executioner. His father before him. Executioner families were castes, locked in by law and custom. My son will marry the daughter of another executioner, because no other family will take him. His son will do the same. I didn't give him a name. I gave him a sentence. 9 at night, the house. The candle is burning again. My wife places stew on the table. My daughter eats in silence. My son eats slowly, still thinking about the blade. Outside, the city sleeps. Locked behind walls, I am not allowed to enter after dark. But the city sleeps because of what I did today. The condemned was a thief. He killed a merchant. The merchant had a family. The order of the city, the very fact that anyone can sleep tonight, exists because someone is willing to do this work. I am that someone. The candle goes out. Tomorrow, the bell will ring again. A new name, a new straw cell. A new walk to the square. By sunrise, the city will need my hands again. By sundown, it will pretend they were never there.